And there we go. Boom. And we're in. So as is often the case, I just have to bluster while I wait for it to sort of, so it says it's setting up, it's not setting up, but also we wait for the alerts because as you can imagine, the delay on us going like 15, 20 seconds, I then get all the alerts and then I can start to see all the comments. Wonderful. And then I just need to make sure we've got people watching because there's no point talking if no one's viewing. But I'm sure we will have.
We could just talk to ourselves. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we just had a lovely 15-minute chat prior to this. So, I mean, lots of stuff I would love to talk about. And it's always the case when we have pre-chat, there's so many things you talk about that you wish that you could then have recorded and then or people could have seen.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Well, it's a balance, though, isn't it? Because some things you don't want to be heard and other things you're okay with it. So, of course, some great conversation and some stuff which has to remain private, of course. Hello to everybody. Right, up we go. Viewers are coming in. Welcome.
Do we have people? Are they out there?
We do. They are. They're saying hello. That's going up.
People.
You won't have known this, but we went live yesterday for our 100th podcast. So, of course, original thing was the Parkrun show. We've then brought With Me Now back as the independent version of that. Yeah. And we recorded our 100th podcast live last night. So I'm starting to get a bit of Zoom fatigue because I'm doing it nearly every day. Well, I've been almost live every day throughout this lockdown. So
I think we've all got Zoom fatigue. So that's everyone in the world, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyway, so of course, people who will be joining and watching, and I'll just keep tabs on the comments as well. Just make sure the window's showing me that. So people saying hello to you. Steve Milne says hi, Danny and Geoff. Geoff Marshall. With me now is Geoff Marshall. Hello, Geoff. How are you doing?
Hello, Danny. I like the fact you've called yourself All the Pies based on all the stations. Very good.
It's very pertinent. My favorite word at the moment, pertinent. Yes, because we discussed recently, you've put on a little bit of weight. I've put on a little bit of weight. It's lockdown, isn't it?
Well, amusingly, I've put on, we just said in the pre-chat, I've put on 5K, which is perfect for parkrun. But I honestly have put on 5 kilograms. But I think it's just, you miss out on like burning calories and just like day-to-day walking and stuff, because although I still go out for like 2 or 3 runs a week, I'm just not being busy walking and moving around or running to the train station or just going about my daily business. So we're just burning less calories. So I think everyone's put on a few pounds.
Absolutely. So of course I thought all the pies would be hilarious.
Right, it's good.
All the stations, because of course a lot of people, you're famous for many things. You are Mr. Trains. You are Mr. Trains. And
railways,
Mr. Railways, of course, yeah, because then you have the tube knowledge as well.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of people watching will know or will have seen or will go and see some of your videos, which we're discussing prior, that the production values I find fantastic. You do it all by yourself.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Absolutely. And genuinely mean it. And I look at it and think, wow, I wish I had that software. That's all I can say. I'm a Photoshop professional by trade. And of course, I don't have access to it at the moment. And when you don't have those tools, it really can hamper what you can get up to. It really does. But when you do have those tools, you can make great art happen. So yeah, I appreciate the production values that you put into it. So all the trains, Mr. Railway Network, as you said about the putting the weight on, one of your latest videos there, you haven't been on a train for a disproportionate amount of time to what you usually do. How long has it been now that you haven't been on a train?
I think we're up to 70 something days. I mean, it was March the 19th I last traveled on the train. I've been on a bus because there was one day I did a big load of shopping. I don't have a car, and I was like, do you know what, I need to get the bus home. But I was very conscious. I was like, if there's people on the bus, I'm not going to get home or wait for the next one. And the bus pulled in and there was nobody on it, and I was like, right, I'm getting the bus all to myself. So but it's not the same getting a bus as it is a train.
It's not. And do you not have to pay? Because I haven't been on any public transport in this lockdown. With certain buses that you can't get on at the front, but you have to get on in the middle. But of course, therefore, you can't tap your Oyster card. Yeah,
so it's changed again now. What they did for the period in London, Transport for London did a thing where you could get on the middle doors, and they put up signs saying, look, just don't bother tapping in. Just it's fine. But they've now put better or improved protective screens at the front, and now they're sort of slowly letting people in on the middle again. But the time, my one bus journey, my one public transport journey in 10 weeks, I didn't pay. No.
No. Okay. So I missed out on that. No, actually, I won't say novelty. That's not true. I've been on buses on occasion when the system just doesn't work. You just get on. Bus driver says, "I'll just get on anyway." So yeah, I haven't missed out on it in that much. Well, there's a silver lining. Anyway, Matthew Scriven says hi, Danny and Geoff, and he's put on.
Is Matt watching?
Oh, he's watching. Oh, yeah. Hi. Hello to Matt. So Matthew Scriven, I've put on at least 10 kilos. He's a big boy. I mean, he's a tall lad as well. He's a big lad.
You just called him out publicly on YouTube. Yeah, Matt, we've all put on weight. It's fine. It's fine. I worry about my
big height, not. I meant that he's a big lad, because you and I are quite tall. You're 6'2", 6'3", aren't you? Something.
I'm 6'3". I'm sure I used to be 6'4", and then don't like over your lifetime, aren't you meant to like slowly shrink? Yeah, so I think I've got like a centimetre shorter.
Yeah, Matthew's about 6'10" or something.
He's one of the few people. It's weird. I'm like, oh hi Matt, and then I feel this strange pain in the back of my neck. I realise it's the neck muscles that I use for like looking upwards, which I don't often use when talking to people. So because he's actually taller than me.
He's here. He is here, and he's watching. Hello, Matthew. Of course, from Southwark Parkrun. He was run director when we were doing the pod a little while ago. He was dressed in a Luigi outfit, and so hello, Matthew. I interviewed him and spoke to him. And so there's a link here between the trains and the parkrun side of things. So of course, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Chilcraft. We'll come to Ian Rutson later on, because these guys are featured in your video. So there's a crossover. So why have I brought you on in particular?
Yeah, why?
Well, why? What's your athlete ID number? So that's
I think I'm 198825. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it. Hooray!
You do indeed. And I checked, when I do my research and I get all the data about people, I see about volunteering and everything else, and I get your data and information. You've done your 42-time volunteering counts and everything. But I'm
wearing the shirt. I've got it.
Oh yeah, that was two things. That looks.
I was like, what shirt do I wear? Must wear my volunteer shirt. Yeah.
It looks really blue for some reason. It doesn't look very purple.
It's because I've got a light up here. You can't see it because I'm a fancy Dan video person. Yeah, it's looking more. I swear it's purple. It's the purple shirt. I swear.
It's a purple one. It looked like you got a 500. I thought, hang on a minute, he's nicked 500 of someone. It's
definitely the
okay, yeah, volunteer 25. Okay. So, and when I do that and I look at the information, you're down as Crystal Palace is having your home park run, but that's not where you've run the most. Gunnersbury.
No, well, I live near Bromley now. I'm in London Borough of Bromley now, but I used to live over in London Borough of Ealing. So it's a brilliant story. I had a friend that used to run Bedfont Lakes, a friend of mine called Richard, and he's like, Geoff, you really should do this parkrun thing. And I was like, all right, then. It took him a few weeks to like convince me. So I just looked up one nearby, and it was at Gunnersbury. And what I didn't realize, I love this story, my first ever parkrun was Gunnersbury's first ever parkrun. And just by chance, I turned up on the very first week that Gunnersbury was starting. And I was like, is this parkrun? Other people were like, we hope so. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, it's the first one. I was like, oh, really? That explains why there's no results on the website for like previous weeks, because there have been no previous weeks. So
no, there hadn't been. Absolutely.
So I think that was the end of October. And so what I do now is every year, the last week of October, when it's the birthday, I go back for like a pilgrimage to Gunnersbury, because it will always be my spiritual parkrun home.
Right, and conversations line up. So we had a little bit of chat about when we've crossed paths, right? So yeah. I remember why I wasn't there for the inaugural.
Why weren't you there, Danny? Come on.
So your parkrun birthday, as you mentioned, is 29th of October 2011, right?
11. It's 9 years this year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Gunnersbury, right?
Yeah.
I was in Germany doing the Frankfurt Marathon. I was there the second week, so I just missed you on that occasion.
No, I would have gone that week too as well, so we would have been there.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know who you were. Okay, all right, okay.
Absolutely. Sweet. But we did meet properly. We did talk and we did chat.
I want to say Osterley.
Osterley's inaugural. Absolutely.
When was that? What year was that?
31st of August 2013. So 7 years ago is coming up to now.
I would have gone with a whole load of Gunnersbury people. So like some of the lovely, RDs and stuff. This lady called Arlene. I think she said
Arlene Gallagher. Yeah.
Yeah. So Arlene was like, let's all go to the new one. So I don't know who was at Gunnersbury that week, because loads of us just went to Osterley.
Yep. It's a small world in the end. I mean, Arlene Gallagher, Andrew Lawrence, and the Eagles, and Sandra Courtney, and everyone else, and then it expands out to people who are living in that particular area as young professionals doing their running and everything, and yeah, everybody ends up knowing each other. It's like the 6 stages of Kevin Bacon. It's gonna be the 6 stages of Geoff Marshall at some point. So I remember talking to you and Mike Bristow. So Mike Bristow is a big pod listener and fan, and I got to see him very recently on the last event before lockdown. I was sat outside in the cafe having a chat with you, and
where was that? Where was your last one? Your last before lockdown? Where was it?
The South End one.
The new one at South End. Hang on.
The one that's just.
I'm looking it up.
I've forgotten its name. Talkwell Beach.
On the events page now.
Talkwell Beach Park.
Talkwell Beach. There we go.
I have a reputation to uphold. I do.
Is it on the beach? Is it flat or is it bumpy?
Just prom, just flat prom.
Oh,
flat
okay.
part, yeah.
It's not
just
a Woolacombe Dunes situation. Okay.
No. Have you done Woolacombe Dunes?
It was on my list for like this spring, and I'm like not there. So yeah.
Well, when you can, if you do, brilliant park run.
Okay.
Expect to lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have engagement and engaged before, and it's been, and I remember meeting you, and it's been fantastic to watch you grow on YouTube. And that you've got 182,000 subscriptions. That's not bad going.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Impressive.
Yeah. It's yeah, I can remember having just like 10,000 and 20,000. But the thing is with that, it's lovely and it's humbling, but it's always relative, because you will go, Geoff, 180,000, and I go, yeah, but I got a friend that's on 2 million, but the guy who's got 2 million will go, yeah, but I know someone that's got 10 million. So it's all, there's a relative scale as to how you shouldn't, I'm not in it for like the subs or trying to be famous. I do it because I enjoy it, and it's something that I'm able to do and spend my time doing. And people always say, you should try and do the thing you love most as a job. So that's what I'm just trying to do, and that's a byproduct, And people on YouTube always say, they always fear that any day now it could like collapse, or it could move, or it could change. So is YouTube going to be around in 10, 20, 50 years? No one really knows, so
Yeah, I think it comes across. I think your passion comes across. People would pick up on that. They detect when somebody's producing content about a subject matter, and you can tell they're really passionate and love it, and they throw heart and soul into it, then they can relate to that, and they'll be drawn into that. I think that's what you definitely get with what you produce.
I've made a couple of parkrun videos as well.
You have indeed. Oh, is he gone? No, Geoff, come back.
Have you seen my parkrun videos? Oh, what? I'm still here. What?
Oh, you're still back. Phew.
Did I go?
Just you froze for a second. That's the first time it's happened. Goodness. Okay, so yeah, you have made a couple of parkrun videos. So
yeah, no, so I made a couple of I made one just generally about when I was excited about parkrun in general back in 2011. I made one with Arlene and Kelvin that are down there at Gunnersbury. But then basically, because me and my friends, we started touring round, and the obvious thing was to do London. And so back when London was 47 parkruns, I think you're up to 53 now. I made a big fuss about when I completed, which was at Crystal Palace. I saved it till the end because it's like hilly and steep and hard. So, but that made a fun. But I've got clips or photos of me at every parkrun, and I tried to include as many as I could. But then, of course, more have been added since. So it's yeah.
You and I have had discussions on Twitter about the definition of London. You may or may not recall about this. So, of course.
Oh no. Was I rude?
Well, no, in terms of like, you were doing your London thing. So of course it's the awareness levels. So of course, my London definition, it depends on what people receive as canon and everything. Now, of course, you go by the Greater London Authority boundary. That's correct. What the definition is.
Correct.
And of course,
I'm aware that there's some that are just outside. So the ones up by, is it like Cassiobury and Watford? Because they're inside the M25. People go, well, that's kind of London,
Right.
So, yeah.
So, and then you've got Banstead Woods, which is the same thing. So my London, which I was then doing, was that physical boundary of the whole M25. And of course, Jay Foreman, the person that I watch those videos, an acquaintance of yours, is that a brilliant person that dives into the history of the London boundaries and thing. I watch this stuff in terms of how it's all drawn, how like Epsom should have been in the London Great London Authority.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah.
Got declined because, of course, the power of the people and the affluence.
Because you're in. Are we allowed to say where you are, by the way?
Yeah, Chessington, just on the edge. I'm just in West Ewell, Epsom.
You're like this little dog leg, But the rest of the bit around Chessington should have been, but Chessington were like, yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we'll be in London.
Yeah, Chessington, because Kingston Borough, Chessington, it's literally like a little peak. Yeah. And on the side, it's the Elmbridge side, and then the Epsom. They went, no, we do not wish to be part of that, and so they didn't. And so they would have been otherwise, but that's not my defining boundary. What I recognised that once I'd done all of them, that I need a stretch goal.
Right.
So, of course, my definition is the boundary of London being N25, which I have then done. And of course, once I've done that, and you may or may not know, Geoff, of course, regarding running challenges, but prior to lockdown, my nearest ones were being Leicester and Weymouth and everything else. So
but when I've looked at your map, so when like Square's Winery popped up or Cyclo Park, you're like, suddenly you're like, oh, there's one only 20 miles away. Great.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Looking for the new one now. So you must have done all of Surrey and Kent and Sussex. It's all southeast coloured in.
Yeah. Multi-counties, yeah. So Basildon, which is excuse me for getting this wrong, War Memorial in Basildon, that was going to be the following week before lockdown, and there's a new one toward Oxford and Aylesbury. Once those two are done, then again it goes back to my nearest ones being up in the north, in Norfolk and Leicester and everything.
But surely the week will come where you wake up and think, oh, I can't be bothered, I'll just go to Kingston.
Only when it's really bad weather. Only when it's bad weather. But otherwise, and in lockdown, I've just been going around the corner for the past 11 weeks, so I wouldn't mind having the novelty of going on tour again at some point. So that's what
I've been doing. I've been doing a few freedom runs in sort of London and the southeast. I should point out, it's quite important. I never do it at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Sometimes I've gone earlier, like at 8 o'clock. Sometimes I've gone quite late at 11 o'clock. So I've done a few. I went, I've been to like Dulwich and Southwark and Mile End. I've done a few. I can ride there on my bike, so I can cycle there, do it, and then just come back again. I wanted to say they're really funny because you're talking about how to define London. I don't think I upset them, but we sort of had like a friendly disagreement. I'm pretty sure with one of the volunteers, maybe the run director at Orpington. When I did Orpington is within the Greater London Borough area. It's in the London Borough of Bromley. And I said, yeah, I'm trying to do all the London park runs. And they went, well, why are you here? This is Kent. And I went, no, it's not. It's in London. They were like, Orpington's Kent. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. And then I went, who do you pay your council tax to? And they went, and I was like, what was that? They were like, London Borough of Bromley. And I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
They don't like it in Orpington. They like to think they're Kent.
Same thing here with Chessington. They're often Chessington, Surrey, Richmond in Surrey. It's not the London Borough of Richmond upon Thames. I mean, people, let's try and avoid that one. But I mean, that's why.
Can of worms.
Yeah, can of worms opened. I just like to go for that road. Let's go for the road. That way, no one can dispute it. But like I say, I need bigger stretch goals for my sort of stuff. Who would have thought we'd be getting into contentious conversation today? So anyway, so regarding tourism and park running, so your stats. Running challenges, you have to give a shout out to Andy and Laura, of course. Challenges. You are a big fan of the running challenge.
Well, but again, I can be a bit cantankerous sometimes, and I've sent them a couple of emails going, are you sure about? Because I was really unhappy when Zari changed, did the Z with the I was so unhappy.
It wasn't their fault.
I know. I felt bad because I might have sent them like a slightly stroppy email, and afterwards I was like, that's probably a bit rude. But because people get so focused, and so we get very obsessed about ticket. People that have very obsessive natures then get very like, well, you can't change that. You've changed it. So I know it's in my nature. I unfortunately to be. So I'm sorry if I've ever been rude, but it's good that they fire up people's passions. But then when the boundaries or goalposts change, for whatever reason, some people find that very hard to deal with. So,
I don't.
Sometimes I can think like, I don't care, whatever. But I'm not.
I don't envy the fact that they get, and I've defended them in the past as well from obsessives regarding that, but myself included, in terms of that I haven't. Right. I can understand the completionist factor regarding that. So some of your videos, and of course, part of my notes is that you did Zeri, and then you did go back and make up for it. You got your real Z with Zielona Góra.
So I got the Z, and then they took it away from me.
They
Parkrun took it away from me. So we did it in March 2000 and was it last year?
Very recently, very recently.
I see lockdown. Not only did you lose track of what day it is, but what year it is. So we did Zari in March 2019, and then it got lost in the summer, and so we had to go back and we did Zielona Góra. But a whole gang of us, about 6 or 7 of us went. We flew. The way to do it, we found, was to fly to Berlin. Have a nice weekend in Berlin, but then just drive into Poland and then do that as well. And Zielona Góra is great. It's so good. And they get so used to many English tourists now. The run director just does a briefing in English for you, which is just delightful. So
they are brilliant over there and accommodating all the people.
So, but where did you go to recently get your Z? Because you did do it in February, didn't you?
So I was going
to missing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was going to bring this up. So you've been keeping tabs, and of course,
I've checked your stats. Of course, I have.
Well, thank you very much. But you tweeted about it. So when I did the Norman Conquest or whatever, doing all the running challenges as they were at the time, because of course you tweeted, you went, running challenges, anybody done all of them? And you did a bunch. You did all your 4 Pontes. We'll come to that in a second as well.
I was missing. I spent all of 2019 trying to do as many as I could, and there's only one that I was missing, which was to do 200
ton.
somewhere like a double. So the only one I've not done is double ton. But then they changed it. They added on, now you have to do the 500. So again, it's like, okay, it's changed, but it doesn't matter. It's fine because it meant that, well, I was happy with what I'd done. But I noticed that you had done them all apart from your Z. So you did then do it. Yeah,
Zalew Zawodowski, which is just southwest of Warsaw. And I say Warsaw.
So are you the only person to have green ticks all the way down?
Again, at the time, it was the only person to have done it all. Yeah, the frame club. So it was all the little green challenges were possible at the time. And then, of course, they had the obsessive badges, the bronze, silver, and gold obsessive.
You're missing a 40 or a 30 or something then, right? I've
done a year of 30s and I did a year of 40s and 50s. So I had the gold obsessive badges as well on top of all the green ticks.
So I see I've lost my 40 badge. I've got a 30 and a 50, but now I need to reclaim my 40, which again, I emailed them going, really? I was like, yeah, but I understand. Things change. It's fine. But at the time, I was a bit cantankerous.
Yeah. Really so, of course, well, that's what's happened. They then changed the tons. So I don't have a single ton because I've done 200 at Bushy, but I haven't done another event with only 100. So again, the goalpost is slightly tweaked. Although I have done 100 at an event, it just doesn't show because, of course.
What? Does that mean you got to do 100 somewhere and then 200 somewhere else?
That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. No. I would have to do that to then get that badge in the interim. But and their mindset and I agree with them, like the obsessive, that you have had silver because you've gone through it on the way to the gold.
Yeah,
makes sense. Just doesn't show on the page, but you've still gone through that particular patch. And of course, a lot of people were going this year could have been bronze year, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to 10 or 20 at this current rate.
The main thing about it, all my sort of whining aside.
Yeah. First world problems and entitlement.
Well, because if they're watching, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I whined.
No, we love them. We love Andy and Laura. They're amazing people.
So do I. But the key thing about it is that it makes people go, oh, well, now I'd have never have gone to Pontybarda in Wales had it not been for them. And so I planned a whole weekend going there, and that's what it does, get you off of it gets you traveling and gets you out and gets you going places, and that's obviously like a really good thing. And I think some days I look back and I think, why did I spend the first 3 years at Gunnersbury not going in? Why didn't I go to like any different one? I just went to Gunnersbury, when I could have been traveling around London at least, kind of thing. But now it's great just to travel the country and meet different people and see different sites. So it gets people motivated to go and visit different places, and that's great. That's
absolutely really they've given us amazing compulsion and the work, and like yourself with your videos, their time and effort that goes into that is just immense, and they are amazing, lovely people. And I met them recently over at Seven Fields in Swindon, and they're just the most humble pair you could possibly hope to meet.
Again, to most people, they just see a website, with a plugin and boom, and they don't realize how many hours of work and coding has gone into that behind the scenes. And then idiots go, oh, well, you haven't done this. And they're like, and they, without any appreciation of how much work and time that they've done, of their own time. So I do appreciate it.
Perfect word, appreciation. I mean, we do. The big proportion, the majority of the portion of the community appreciate the work they do, just on another scale in terms of what they did. And it's not just you or I, it's also people like Joe Sinton Hewitt. So of course, important people love their running challenges too. So and a lot of the staff, loads of the staff, they were meant to go and get their Z, but that got canned. They were going to go to a journey to get their Z, a lot of the staff, and of course that got put on the back burner. So parkrun numbers and stats, 301 parkruns you were on.
Yes.
So that's a bit of a funny number, of course. Does it bug you that it's not even? If it was like 300, it would have been nice and flat.
Well, it should have been 302 for complicated reasons. I hadn't skipped one. I'd done like 60 in a row. So all of 219, I didn't miss a single one. And then I missed one in February of this year. So I should have been on 302. But I think, as I was saying before we went on, I feel bad for the people that might be stuck on 249 or 49. They were one away from getting their shirt, and we're all now going, well, when's the next one going to be? So my heart goes out to those people. So what if you're stuck on 499 right now? Oh my God. If I was stuck on 499 right now, I'd be like, ugh.
I have a friend called Emma Paul, lovely lady, and she's on 249. She's like,
oh, the pain.
Just have to wait and see and come back. There's many people, and I'm sure when they do come back, it's going to be a triple celebration in that sense.
Well,
sorry.
No, I was going. You were talking about triples. I'm going to give you a genius idea here right now to all parkrun people. we don't know obviously when it's coming back. Like some have speculated, you know, autumn, winter this year. Some have said it might not be till next year. If it did come back at the very end of this year, they should do a thing called double December, where like every park run in December doubles up so that we can get some, you know, counts back. You do it twice. You do it once at 9 and then once at 10:30. Double December. Come on.
I have a funny feeling that won't go down very well, and certainly from a volunteer basis side of things. So I'll end up having to point that out.
It's such a great name, Double December. You have a DD logo and everything. It'd be great.
I'm sure the marketing behind it sounds fantastic. The practicalities, however.
I know. There's run directors right now going, no, we have other things to do on a Saturday, Geoff.
Yeah.
We have families to get back to.
I believe that we'll add that to the list, duly noted, and thank you for your suggestion will be the responses that you'll get. So, yeah. Tourism side of things, 137 different. You've been, obviously, UK is a country, France, USA, Poland, for years, Ireland. So you've been around a bit country-wise.
Yeah, so I think my first overseas one, I think me and my girlfriend / wife, we were just in Paris for the weekend.
Now wife? You said now wife / wife.
Yeah, no, we're married.
Now
wife. Sometimes I forget.
Right, okay.
We were in Paris one weekend, so we did the Paris one. And it was like, oh, we should do another international one. So we were on holiday in America. And at that time, there's only about 10 in the USA. And I went, oh, I bet there's none in San Francisco. Oh my God, there's one in San Francisco. We have to do it, kind of thing. So I've done Chrissy Fields. So flat. And it's at like 2-foot elevation. It's
I've done it. I've done it.
It's just like, that was great.
Yeah.
But what happened during my adventures with trains and travels, and the reason why it says all the stations here, is we've traveled to every railway station in Britain. And then last year in 2019, we spent 3 weeks traveling to all the stations in Ireland as well. And I'll be honest, I plotted my route around Saturdays so that, you know, I'd end up in a place where there'd be a park run. So, but what an amazing thing happened there is that, it's a great story, is that I was in Dublin for the weekend for my 250th. So for the big 250. And I've got a gang of friends. There's about 5 or 6 of us. We call ourselves the Run Nerds, and we always we tend to meet up most Saturdays. Sometimes people go off and do their own thing. And they all texted me going, oh, which one are you doing in Dublin, Geoff? Which one? And I was thinking, they seem very keen to know which one. They're probably just excited for my 250th. And I went to Father Collins because Andrew Chilcraft had been there and he recommended it. I went, is it flat? Not a fan of hilly park runs. Flatter the better. So I decided to go to Father Collins, and I turned up at Father Collins, you know, at 9:15, Irish park runs at 9:30. And all my 4 or 5 sort of running buddies from London, had got up that morning without telling me at 4 a.m., got the taxi at 5, got the 6 a.m. flight, flew into Dublin for 7:30, got a taxi to the park run, and all met me for my 250th, and it was amazing. And I was like, you've come to Dublin. But based on that, we were thinking, where else can you do that? But the thing about Ireland is that it works in your favor because 1, it starts half an hour later, and 2, it's in the same time zone. If you go to like France or Germany or whatever, you've lost an hour. So actually, Ireland is really handy. So we tried it again. So I went to one called Malahide Castle at the beginning of this year.
I've been there
because I wanted the experience of getting up at 4, getting the taxi at 5, the flight at 6, landing at 8, and then taxi. So we just randomly did Malahide Castle. So if you want to just have a random international tourist day, go to Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been to Malahide myself as well.
You've done Malahide?
Yeah,
okay.
and Chrissy Field. Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep trying to do everything. I don't mean to do it. I'm not trying to get an upmanship. I just have.
You've done Paris as well? There's 2 in Paris now, right?
No, but I've been to Bordeaux and I've done Rouen. So,
okay.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. But yeah, we went again, Bois de Boulogne and La Mosserie as well. Yeah, they're definitely on the radar.
But of course now, running challenges, being an OCD obsessive, I think with the Netherlands, did that take part in 21 countries? 20, 21?
22 or 23.
Now, there's a little bit of me that's like, I have to say I've done at least 1 in every country. And that's going to be expensive, right? Or just time consuming?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, ask Cass Castleton, and I think I definitely got in the head. So Cass Castleton is one of the guys. You've got Neko Okonto as well as another lady who does country tourism. And I would like to speak to probably Cass and maybe Neko at some point. So that's on the card. So to ask them and see what they do. Their extremities, very much in the extremity in terms of things.
Surely the hardest ones, I mean, I think Australia is very popular, but I think in Japan or South Africa, probably that's a hell of a trek. Just
let me put it this way, that you may not know that certain parties, one of the persons that I've just mentioned has flown into Tasmania and back just to do the park run. That's all I'm saying.
Who's the person that did the one? What's the most eastern park run, and then they flew to Chrissy Fields? Did they do it? Did they manage to get both in the same weekend?
Oh, there used to be the time. Oh, they mean the time traveling side of things.
Is that possible still? Is that still a thing?
It got stopped. There was a few got allowed. Then it got stopped, and then somebody did it on New Year, where because the double was allowed, they actually did Australia to Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What does that actually do in the parkrun database? Does it go bing, error, duplicate, entry?
Ordinarily it would come up that someone's got two in the same place, and therefore they'd have to address it. But because it's
it would flag it up. There'd be a flag. Okay.
Yeah, but because it's allowed on New Year's Day, it was okay.
Come on, you should. But points for ingenuity, it should be allowed, really.
Yeah,
surely.
And you won't have known this, but the lady in question, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember rightly, was dressed up as Doc from Back to the Future. So it's clever. Very, very clever.
That's amazing.
Yeah, ingenuity never stops, does it? Absolutely. So a couple of things before, I need to just give you a quick heads up as well.
Gosh.
There's a couple of things I haven't done, which you usually do. I always like to give virtual high fives. This is a bit silly. So, right, I need to get this right. You need to do your high five towards your bookcase, right? So high five your bookcase.
Which hand would you like?
Any hand you choose, your left or right hand. Yeah, and then high five your bookcase on the edge. That's it. You and I, looks like we're not doing it. On YouTube, I promise you're giving me a high five because you have to do a virtual distance high five. Yep. There you go. There you go. It's just something I do just to give you a high five because I think it looks funny. Do you have a pen and paper handy there by any chance?
Yes, and yes. Yes.
The two things. One, we do Parkrun Pictionary, where you to draw a little. I'll give you time. Don't worry. You won't have to do it entirely on the spur of the moment.
You give me to draw.
You do have to draw. It's fine. Everybody always says they're terrible at drawing. They do brilliant drawings. And whilst you're thinking of a parkrun to do Pictionary-wise, any one of your choice, I just wanted to give a shout out, of course, to Ian Rutson. So he was interviewed last week. Oh yeah. Was it last week? Yeah. I was spoke to him very recently. I've lost track of time, like we all have.
Is he watching now? Is he in the comments? Hey, Ian.
I don't think so. He will probably watch back. I expect he's not in the comments from what I've seen. He'll have a quick check, but he's not around at the moment.
Watch it on iPlayer catch up. Yeah.
You've got Kirk Shepherd, who's a big fan of yours. He was at Killerton with you on the last one before lockdown. He's very
Kirk! Oh, dude, I tried to find you at the end. Hello, mate. And you'd wandered off. I was looking around going, I can't see where he is. He was doing a vlog and everything. We had a nice chat. I couldn't find you. That was the last one I did. Yeah, back in second weekend of March. Okay.
Yeah, he was very excited when you were coming on, so he's a big fan. Good.
The only parkrun I've been to where the start was delayed because they had to shepherd some cows off the course. True story.
It's becoming more and more frequent, that sort of thing.
Like, come on, that never happens in London.
No. Oh, well, depends on what you define as London.
I think at Barking, Ilford, there were some geese or there were some ducks they had to shepherd out the way. That was about the worst it got. Yeah.
Yeah. And a big shout out to Elliot Line. Elliot Line's a big fan of yours. Elliot Line stats, if you are familiar with Elliot, he does stats every week.
Elliot! Oh, hello, Elliot. Your webpage is amazing. Oh my, that's how I know, Elliot. That's how I know where new parkruns are, because I look at your webpage to see where new ones have been.
He's setting the stats where the new ones have started. Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, okay.
Elliot's here. So he's a big fan of yours too. So shout out to that.
I'm a big fan of yours, Elliot. There's a big loving.
There is. Everybody loves each other in parkrun world. It's love parkrun. And so whilst you're thinking of your parkrun Pictionary and you're going to be drawing that, so yeah, shout outs to Ian Rutson. That's done. I can go through the comments. So
you want to draw now?
Yes, please.
You want to draw
a parkrun of your choice. So for example, offline, I always say the best one is to do, say, for example, if you were doing Penistone, you would draw a, and a stone. So therefore, but let's steer away from that. So one is a bit more family friendly in terms of a parkrun. So you can take your time over it because there's quite a few comments coming in. So whilst you're doing
I've got one. Yeah, okay, hang on. Yeah.
Shout out to Andrew Lawrence, who I mentioned earlier. Hello, Andrew. Of course, I'm done.
Is Andrew on? Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, he's here. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, he's here too. Big pod fan. Love Andrew. Ambassador as well. Greater London ambassador with Ian Cockram. We have Ali Shepherd. People wishing happy anniversary to the Burrells so Callum Burrell is a big pod fan. It's his 3rd wedding anniversary. And Adrian Luscombe, hi Geoff, thanks. Thanks to you, he says, I've always found your parkrun website resource, Geoff Tech, extremely handy and useful. Thank you. Why Geoff Tech? Why Geoff Tech, by the way? And that.
Oh, it's dull. I can tell you, it's a really dull story. When I was an early adopter to the internet back in like 1989, I was with a company called Frontier Technologies,
right.
and their domain name was www.ftech.net, and I signed up as Geoff, G-O-F-F, but that meant my website with them became, they put it in front of instead of the www. So I became Geoff.ftech.net, and people just went, hey, your website's Geoff Tech, and so that just became a name. So, and at the time I was working in IT, but now I don't do tech anymore, but it's just a name that's kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But Adrian's a fan of, your Geoff Tech, extremely handy and useful resource. So that's cool.
Well, except my website is offline at the moment because I'm sort of rebuilding it.
Yes, because I couldn't get in touch with you. So I tweeted you and you didn't respond. So I had to get Ian and credit and shout out to Ian Rutson to put me in touch with you, because it's like, can you get in touch with Geoff? And he's like, all right.
Sorry, my website will return shortly. I've written reviews of every parkrun I've been to. But I'm obsessed by flat parkrun. You haven't asked me about that, Danny. I'm obsessed by the flattest and fastest.
That's fine.
And so just I rate them 1 to 5, 1 being flat and 5 being...
Right. As long as you rate them on... As long as you rate them on, that's fine. If you rate them on your hilliness, fine. Just don't rate them on quality. I know your objective. Just if you're going to rate them a 1 to 10 and what you think of them, I can't review. I profile.
Oh, no. I rate them in terms of like terrain, because I'm like, I'm fairly sure that Mike Bristow wound me up once years ago because I went, I'm looking to go for like a flat, fast. I said flat. And Mike went, oh, you've been to Lloyd Park in Croydon. And Mike knows that it's the hilliest, most cost-crunchy course ever. And I messaged him going, that wasn't flat. And he was like, no, didn't say it was. And I was like, I'm pretty sure. And he teased me. So ever since then, I've been like I always make a note of how, so 5 is the hardest terrain. So, and I'm still convinced, if anybody, I always wax lyrical about this, Victoria Dock in London is the flattest, fastest course. And if you go on a spring or autumnal windless day, you will get a PB. It's awesome. It's just so good. It's just pancake flat. Love it. Yeah.
And I guess it's fundamentally surrounded outside of the airport bit. Yeah, it's kind of sheltered a little bit. Certainly up there. Very much certainly.
If you get a windy day, not because it comes in on the side, it's a bit nasty. But if you can go, So that's...
Absolutely. When I was running halfway decently before my decline, then I got a decent time there too. I absolutely agree in terms of the flatness. I've got a little slower. I'm only 10 minutes slower now at the moment.
It's not about your time, Danny. It's about the taking part and enjoying.
Well, I'm enjoying the scenery more than what I used to. That's the best silver lining I can give. Anyway, Gary Parr, Chalkwell Beach, of course. Yes, thank you. Chalkwell Beach is where I was. Gary Parr chipping in to help me out as to where I was. And then what else have we got going on? People saying where I should go to. Norman Conquest. Oh, blimey, loads of comments. Malahide. We haven't had a Perry Hall mention. There's a theme that we mention Perry Hall every time.
Is there? I don't know where that is. Where is that? Sorry.
Birmingham. So
okay.
Big pod fan, Perry Hall. We're going to be doing like a listener meet up at Perry Hall. That's Birmingham way, when we can get back at some point. And Falklands. A lot of times what happens is a lot of people chat. I had someone help us yesterday to go sift through the chat to pick out the pertinent points. And what happens, I usually go through comments and discover that most people are conversing amongst themselves. It's like it's like they're paying attention to us at the same point, having a chat in the interim in the chat room. So it's good. It's great. It's lovely to see. I love the engagement. It's brilliant.
Are you planning on going to the Falklands, Danny? I think it's £2,500 flights every Wednesday and Sunday.
That's correct. No.
Come on. Let's start a GoFundMe for Danny to get. So we're putting £1 to send you to the Falklands.
And and not a one-way ticket. I think you'd get easily. So. Absolutely right.
Do it. People would do it. I'll give you £1.
Okay, we'll start that. I'll start that soon. I'll do that later on today.
Can I come with you?
Of course you can. Absolutely. But yeah, it means you'll have to stick with it. You're not allowed to come back. I mean, that is the caveat. Not allowed to come back. Right. Have you done your drawing, by the way?
I have. It's really terrible. I might have to give clues. So do you shout it out, or do people in the comments?
If I get it, then it depends how quickly I get it, but the hive mind in the comments will get it.
Okay.
So
all right. Ready? Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what it is already. It's in London. It's in
It is
North.
in London.
Yeah. All right then, and I give it an opportunity. It's such a lovely one, and I'm going to give clues because it was small for a long
It's
time.
one of my favourite London ones. Again, on the week I went there, a friend of mine went, Geoff, go to, because you're guaranteed a top 10 placing, right? And he went, because only 20 people go. And the week I went, beautifully, a local school were doing a cancer charity run, but like 50 kids turned up. So there were like 70 people.
Oh, right.
And I was like, damn it.
I had that at Chrissy Fields, right? So I went to Chrissy Fields, and I thought, yeah, I mean, I'll do okay, and I'm not about the positions, but it would. I've never been in an event smaller than 9 since Ubertourist in Italy, and I was hoping that might be particularly small. And they sent 200 kids from Oaklands over the bay to come and take.
On the 1 week you were in California.
Yeah, yep. That for that. So I had a similar experience. Pims, everyone's getting Pims. Beverly Gower says Pims. Karen Spatman, Callum Burrell, Jane Cuskin, Adrian Luscombe, everyone's saying Pims, lovely Pims.
And it genuinely is one of my favorites. You go and you feel, because I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing when a park run gets to like 400, 500, 600 people, but obviously it loses sort of a little bit of the community feel kind of thing. But when it's still quite small, then like everybody knows everybody. And every time we go to Pims, I've done it 3 or 4 times now, it's so nice because like everyone's like, hey, like you feel like there's only 50 people, but they all know each other, and it's great. And it's just like, and it's a pleasure to run, and it's flat and on tarmac, so it wins for me. So,
ticks all the boxes for it. Absolutely.
If only it was station, so it's all good. It's all good.
If only it was called Zims. If it was called Zims, that would have been your most ultimate park run ever. Actually, it's in the London Borough. If it had a Z, it's small, flat, tarmacy, just would have ticked all your boxes, all the boxes.
Thank you for guessing it from my terrible diagram. Last time we went, which was I think this time last year, I was there in like June, July. We took like some cans of Pims to drinks afterwards. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, we were sat in the sunshine drinking Pims at Pims. It's great.
Well, I don't think it's that rare on certain occasions. Some people who are sitting there even early on the benches in other people's experiences. So yeah, you're in amongst the crowd. Right.
That could be like a pre like you could have a Red Bull and Pims as a kind of a pre-run.
You were doing so well. 40 minutes. You did so well, Geoff. So well.
Pre-run. just beep that bit out in post. They'll never know.
All right, brilliant.
Pre-run drink.
Right, yeah.
Post-run, what? Stop.
Post-run, pre-run.
Stop me now.
Stop digging the hole. Come away from it. Right. It's been a delight and a pleasure. Thank you very much for chatting. And yeah, just thank you very much for the videos that you produced. Thank you for giving me your time talking today, talking about your parkrun passion. People, if you're not watching already, I'm sure they are, a lot of big fans. Subscribe to Geoff and us, watch his videos about the trains.
Just go onto YouTube and type in Geoff Marshall or all the stations, and you'll find my channel. And on my channel, there's a couple of parkrun videos, so
playlists and things.
Just search Geoff Parkrun on YouTube, and you'll find a couple that I've done. It's all good. So good, Danny. We'll see you physically in person at some point. Our paths will cross.
Absolutely.
Hopefully in the Falkland Islands.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see you in the Falkland Islands in a few months' time. Right. Take care, Geoff. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye to everybody. Zoom faces. I'm going to hit end. This is the awkward moment where you just have to keep on waving and grinning.